That's the first thing you want to do, always, is bleed it out. Okay?
Just cut around the neck?
Just cut it.
Where the arteries are?
Most people are going to cut it this way. Butchers cut them this way.
Okay.
If you want to cut it this way, it's better. If you want to cut it that way, it's fine too. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Hey, there's my wife.
Because that's the main artery, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the very first thing you always want to do is bleed them out.
Okay.
And then the second thing you want to do is field dress them, because you want to get the guts out of them as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So I'll ask one of you guys to hold her over there if you don't mind. No problem. Okay, and the right way to field dress is you're going to need to get yourself a good sharp knife, and you never want to cut down through. You always want to cut up.
Okay, and I've seen some people hold their finger kind of so they don't cut into it.
I wouldn't do it.
Too dangerous.
You're going to cut yourself. I do that sometimes, but if you don't know what you're doing, you'll slip and cut your finger off. Okay?
All right.
The reason that you want to cut up is because if you're cutting down, you're cutting into the hair.
Right.
If you're cutting up, you're just going to cut through the skin.
Okay.
Okay. Now, wild hogs are not the easiest animals in the world to cut. Their hide is kind of tough. I'm glad you got a sow anyway. That's a good thing. A boar this big would be kind of stinky. You can still eat it. How'd you get it?
Slug tree stand.
Yeah?
Yep.
You set up a feeder a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was hanging out, there was a bunch of raccoons, and I'm like, man, is that what's been eating all my corn, these raccoons? And all of a sudden I heard, I was only 6 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I heard Darth Vader coming behind me. And I'm like, oh. And they were pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh man, this has got to be them. And I had a red flashlight taped on my gun.
Yeah.
And I looked down, I saw a bunch of little black ones.
Yeah.
But it was hard to tell how big they were because they were solid black.
Yeah.
And I looked over and I saw this one. She was on the lookout.
Yeah.
She was kind of staying back watching what's going on and everything. And she was looking right at me.
Yeah.
I had the red light, so I guess I guess they can't see color, can they?
That's what I've heard.
But she was looking right at me, didn't even phase her or nothing.
Yeah.
And she turned sideways, and I'm like, oh, I'm just
Gotta take her.
gonna try to hit it right behind the ear
Yeah, that's good.
with a 20 gauge single shot.
That'll do the job. She's probably got babies in her.
That's what I was thinking.
She's pretty big. Now, when you're doing this, you notice I'm not cutting into the belly itself.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because
You don't want to. You can.
intestines.
You can, and I do sometimes even, but you want to try not to if you can help it.
Yeah.
She's got a fair amount of fat on her too.
Well, she's done eating 400 pounds of corn.
Corn-fed pig.
I'm about to start feeding them some grain. Nah, she's been eating off of corn all around the fields and everything too, probably.
Yeah, sure.
And say they just now cut the corn,
Yeah,
and I think now they're really coming with the feeders.
yeah,
Because before I didn't really see that many signs of them.
right.
But now the corn's gone, they're ready for the
When did you
feeders.
set up that feeder? Back in June?
Yeah,
You gonna try to get you some deer this year?
if I see any.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's too many
We're
deer.
over there in Blue Ridge, and I'm not sure how many deer there is around there.
Yeah, there's probably some.
My neighbors tell me they see them all the time, but
Ooh. Look at them intestines.
She's full.
She got babies?
We'll find out here shortly.
Yeah, all the other ones were black.
Yeah. Yeah, they come in all different colors.
And I was thinking about taking a black one, but I mean the black ones were about half the size.
Yeah, most people like the little ones, but you don't want to get them too small because you're paying for processing no matter what the size is.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to make sure it's worth your money. And since this is a female, that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it was a male, you could still eat it. We've had 300-pounders brought in before that have done okay. You just have to make a lot of sausage out of them.
How much do you think this thing weighs?
She probably goes 160, 170.
That's what you said, yep. Man, she looked like a monster
Yeah.
in the dark
Yep.
with the light on her. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is a monster.
Okay, so here's an important part now. Once we got her cut open, we've got to cut around her anus in the back.
And
We've
then
got to cut around the outside of it, and then we're going to pull it in. And
Okay.
then get rid of the whole mess. Okay?
Okay. And then don't you have to cut her up here to release that,
No, you don't
no?
need to. I cut her
Okay.
from the inside, so
Okay.
you don't have to worry about it. You can cut anything in there, and it's not going to really be a big deal. You just want to get it rinsed out, or I'll rinse it out. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Watch what he's doing down there. That's the delicate part.
You're just going to make a cut
around the anus.
right around the anus.
Oh God. That's just the hurting me part. Just,
Yeah. How'd you guys find out about us?
on the internet.
Oh, good. We just put up our website. So
Really, I was like, well, that's not too far.
not a lot of us left. There's fewer and fewer of us around.
We're kind of back in here.
Yep, I like it too.
I know a guy over
Yeah.
in Celeste.
Oh, do you?
That I've used before.
Okay.
Last thing I shot was a buffalo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a herd and sold them all, and the guy spent a week trying to get the mail in a trailer, and he couldn't do it, so I gave him his money back after a week of trying.
So that's enough of that, huh?
Yeah, he really wanted them too. He was
Yeah.
a magnificent beast.
Yeah.
And